Hi, how's it going there today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you very much. And before I ask you
Yeah.
about your career and all these different things, we were connected because you're part of Songs to Save Them All. How did you get involved with
Yeah.
the cause?
It's actually a really cool story. So when I was on my last national tour, in March, I think it was 2020, before we had to shut down the tour.
Right.
Um, Sometimes on a bus tour, we'll have a day off, in an in-between city. So we were in between Salt Lake City and Colorado. And we stopped at a really small town called Kanab, Utah. And I didn't know much about Kanab. And I got off the bus that morning, and it's these beautiful red mountains. I mean, just gorgeous landscape. And I was walking to McDonald's to have breakfast, and I walked past Best Friends Animal Society. It's a storefront, and I remember thinking, that's interesting. There's like five stores here, not very many. And I saw that one. And the only reason I had ever heard of them before was because my friend Lindsay Sterling rescued her dog from and got it through them. And so I went over, had my breakfast, and I started Googling about Kanab and what was there to do. And I read that there were two things. Clint Eastwood had filmed a lot of movies there, a lot of westerns there. So there was like a western movie museum, and then it said that Kanab was home to the largest no-kill animal sanctuary in the country. And I was like, what? An animal sanctuary? Like, this is amazing. And to be in such a small town, what was so fascinating to me. And my band, and they're animal lovers, my crew, animal lovers, just like me. And so on my way back from breakfast, I stopped into the store and I started talking to the girls in there. And I said, tell me all about it. And they're telling me about it. And I was like, this is so interesting. I wish I could get up there and take a tour. But it's literally such a small town that there's no Ubers. There's like a guy that you call on a card that'll come pick you up, and he wasn't available. So I went back to the bus, talked to my tour manager. I talked to my band. I said, can you give him a ring for me and my tour manager? So he called them up, and they were nice enough to come down, pick us up, bring us up there. Our band wanted to go. So we went up to the animal sanctuary. We took about like an hour and a half tour through all the land and all the different facilities they have up there. And we got to meet some of the animals. And I was really blown away. One of the things I noticed when I first went into the shelter was that one of their initiatives is to make the nation no kill, just in its entirety by 2025. And they're getting there. And I thought that was just incredible. That really took my breath away. And that was one of the first things I saw on the wall when I got there. And they're just an incredible organization. So that's actually how I met them. Kind of a cool story.
And you are a part of that event on July 22nd, I believe is the date. Any idea what
Mm-hmm.
you'll be doing as part of it? Are you just doing a song or two kind of through a Skype in?
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about the organization a little bit, and then I'm just going to go into my music. I'm going to play a couple songs and help raise some money for a great cause.
That sounds great. Any idea what, or is that a surprise which song you're going to be doing? Because you had a great new single, Break Her Heart, within the recent past.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be playing that one. So I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple. I was going to do Put the Gun Down and Break Her Heart. So those are actually the two songs that I'm planning on doing.
Definitely looking forward to that. And another reason that I said I have to interview you, besides really being aware of you since 2012, is your Jewish roots. People would not normally hear ZZ Ward and think, well, that is a Jewish artist. Any idea what the last name was before Ellis Island happened?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was Friedman. It's a very interesting story. I didn't actually know about my Jewish roots until I met my husband about 10 years ago. He was talking to me, and he asked me the origin of my name, which is Zsuzsanna. It's a Hungarian name, and that's where the ZZ comes from. It's spelled Zsuzsanna. And he asked me where my name came from, and I said it came from my grandmother's side, and she was Hungarian. Her last name was Friedman. And he said, so you're Jewish? And I said, no, I don't think so. He said, well, you're obviously Jewish if your mother's last name is Friedman. And I really didn't know. So I kept asking so then I started asking my grandmother, who is now 93 years old. I started asking her on the phone. She was in Florida, and I was like, are we Jewish? Are you Jewish? And she was, she was actually very defensive about it. And she would deny it and say that she wasn't. And then she said something that was very telling. She said, I have been a Catholic woman for 70 years. And she's 80, and she was 86 at the time. So I obviously said, well, what were you for the first 16 years? And then she said that she was Jewish. And so it was actually a family secret. My mother didn't know she was Jewish her whole life. My uncle didn't know he was Jewish his whole life as well. So come to find out, she's a Holocaust survivor. She was in a line to go to Auschwitz, and she escaped out of line. She got Catholic papers and saved her family. So yeah, it was very, very eye-opening, and I'm so glad that I know now. Since then, I've really embraced my Jewish roots, and I went to some classes on Judaism and really kind of engulfed myself in learning about traditions and the history of Judaism, because I really didn't have it growing up at all. I needed to kind of catch up. So I learned about all the holidays and everything like that, and all the practices and things like that. And since then, I was fortunate enough to take a trip to Israel with the Schusterman Foundation for Reality Music, which was a really life-changing experience for me. And I was able to go to Yad Vashem when I was there, and it was a really powerful trip for me. And after Israel, I went to actually Budapest, and I visited some of my family members there. And so it was just a deep dive into my roots going there. And I learned a lot about why my grandmother is kind of the way she is now in Budapest during that time, during the Holocaust. It was incredibly hard, and a lot of the Hungarians turned on each other. And they really made her fear being Jewish. They made her try to hide it her whole life. And, to where I really wish that I could say my grandmother would really embrace being Jewish. I think that she still lives in fear from being a child and growing up in that environment and wearing the Star of David on her clothes. I think she's really scarred for life. In a beautiful way. And I know she says the Shema every night before she goes to bed. So I think she deep down is very proud to be Jewish, but I think it's very sad. I think it's very sad what history and hate can do to people. And I've seen it firsthand, and it doesn't go away. I see these Holocaust, some of the last of the Holocaust survivors that were able to do those interviews with Spielberg, and it's so wonderful to hear them embrace being Jewish and share their stories of survival. And, I think I always kind of wished my grandmother would be that way, but I think her environment really, it shaped who she was in so many ways. But yeah, so that's a little bit about my Jewish heritage.
That is wonderful. Some of that is stuff I've heard before from other people. When I was talking to Faith No More's bassist Bill Gould, he talked about the elimination of Judaism in his family. So I guess it's inevitable for that region, to say the very least. But at least you have a cool last name like Ward. I mean, Bill Ward from Black Sabbath and Anita Ward and all that. Was there any hesitation, though, going into music with the last name Ward, knowing that so many people that were already famous had it?
No, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know that famous people had it until you just told me right now. So, I mean, I love Black Sabbath, but I don't think I was familiar with that person in the band that much. So, I didn't really know that. I can tell you one thing. I think that the ZZ Top thing has come up a lot, more than anything. And so, but I've just gotten so immune to people being ZZ Top, and I've actually become friends with Billy Gibbons over the years, and I've actually performed with him. So it's really, they he's really embraced it, which has been so sweet. He's such a wonderful person. And so that's kind of been a fun full circle thing. But I still get that sometimes with the ZZ Top, more so than the Ward, to be honest.
Definitely should be proud of Bill Ward, the original heavy metal drummer right there. So as we talked about a couple minutes ago, your latest single is Break Her Heart. Great music video, looks really cool as well. Do you have a full length in the works, or is it kind of like you've switched the singles path?
I do have a full length in the works. I'm not really sure, given the crazy times we're going through right now, when exactly we're going to put that out. Obviously, plans have really changed, and I find myself in an environment where I'm letting go of a lot of things. I think personally and career-wise, where I can't control everything. I really, we're used to being in a musical environment in which we have these tools to support a record. And a lot of those tools have been kind of taken away from us. So I'm just trying to figure out, with my team and things like that, kind of, and we're changing so quick. Everything is changing, it seems, every day. So it's very important to me that, at the core of everything, I'm connecting with my fans and I'm putting out meaningful, emotional music in a time where I think people need it the most. So we have continued to put out music through this time. We put out a song called The Dark, which is a song that really represents, a feeling of hope, which I think people really, need right now. And I think that I needed right now, and I needed to connect with my fans through that song. So we have been putting out music during this time, but as far as when we're going to put a full length out, I hope soon, and it's definitely in the works. So
Glad to hear that there's new music in the pipeline, since things are kind of on hold in a way for you, like everybody else. Any hobbies or discoveries you've had in the past couple months, or being home a lot?
Yeah, I have a couple hobbies. I make fedoras, where I've been, for me, when I was growing up and getting into blues music, artists like Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Big Mama Thornton were like the people that I really wanted to be like, and I felt like they were so confident, and so I started wearing a fedora on stage to kind of find that confidence and be maybe a certain side of myself or a certain character that I could maybe someday grow into. And so a fedora for me was a way of finding my confidence. So it's always been a really meaningful kind of symbolic thing in my life. So I learned how to make them. It's something called millinery. And so that is a hobby for me. I make fedoras, and I'm working on a line right now. And then another thing is cooking. I really like cooking. I like it so much. I don't know that I'm not good at it, but I have been inspired over the years. I've actually had some really cool opportunities through music and through festivals. Life is Beautiful Festival. I got to cook with Scott Content or Conan. I'm not sure how to say his name. Heather will have to give you the right name, but he's actually like a famous chef. and I've also got to cook at the Bourbon Festival. I got to cook with Tom Colicchio. So I've been really inspired by those moments. I mean, they were probably thought I had no idea what I was doing, but I felt like because I cooked with them, I really need to step up my game. So I've been taking time in lockdown to try to get better at cooking.
Well, when you're ready to announce anything food related, I would love to cover it for my food outlet called Guilty Eats. But in the meantime, ZZ, any last words for the kids?
I would just say hold on to that hope right now. I think these are really, I know we've been hearing it a lot, but these are really uncertain times. They are. And I think what we can do is we can try to be kind to each other and, and patient with each other, and try to hold on to that hope, because that hope's going to get us through anything. So.
Well said. Well, really also looking forward to seeing what's coming up with the fedora. So many interesting projects you got, so keep up the great things you're doing, and also looking forward to that concert in a couple days online.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking with you.
Paltrocast.